I didn't start writing this as a warning. I don't think warnings help anymore. This is just a record. Something to exist after I stopped pretending it didn't happen. I've always had trouble sleeping, not the dramatic kind where you stare at the ceiling until sunrise, but the quiet kind. The kind where your body is exhausted and your mind refuses to follow. At night, everything sounds louder than it should. The refrigerator hum, the tick inside the walls, the faint click a house makes when it cools down. I learned those sounds, memorized them. They became proof that everything was normal. When you can name a sound, it stops being scary. I lived alone then. A small place, one hallway, bedroom at the end, bathroom light that flickered if you didn't twist the switch just right. I slept with my door half open, not because I was afraid, but because I liked knowing where the hallway light ended and where the dark began. That line mattered to me. Some nights I'd lie there for hours, listening, not actively, just aware, waiting for sleep to decide I was worth visiting. That's when I first noticed the pause. It wasn't a sound. It was the absence of one. A moment where the house felt like it was holding its breath. At first, I thought it was me. I'd stopped breathing without realizing it. You know how you do sometimes, when you become aware of your own lungs and everything goes manual for a second, so I ignored it. I rolled over, adjusted the pillow, checked my phone. 2:17 a.m. Same as always. That pause came again the next night. And the night after that. Always brief, always subtle. Just long enough for me to notice that something had stopped. It took a few nights before I realized what the pause actually was. It wasn't the house. It was me. Specifically, the sounds I made. My breathing would slow, then stop. Not because I held it, because something else did. The first time I noticed it clearly, I laughed. A quiet breath through my nose. The kind you do when you catch yourself overthinking. Then I heard something that didn't belong to the house. A shift, like weight being adjusted. Not footsteps, not movement, just the soft acknowledgement of presence. It came from the doorway, from the dark. I didn't turn my head. I didn't need to. I could feel exactly where it was. You know that feeling, when someone stands too close behind you and your skin reacts before your brain does. That. I told myself it was muscle memory, a dream forming early, the mind rehearsing fear before sleep. The thing is, I wasn't asleep. My phone was still warm in my hand. I counted my breaths until the feeling faded. 1, 2, 3. By the time I reached 10, the house exhaled again. The refrigerator resumed its hum. The walls clicked softly. Normal. I slept after that. The next night, I closed my door, just to test it. The pause still happened. But this time, it wasn't near the doorway. It was closer, right beside the bed. I started keeping the lights on. Not all of them, just enough to blur the shadows. Fear changes when you give it rules. If it only happens in the dark, then light becomes protection. That's what I thought. The pause came anyway. The breathing stopped anyway. But now I could see the room. Nothing was there. No shape, no outline, just the impression of someone standing where the light refused to settle. That's when it spoke. Not out loud, not in my head, somewhere in between. "You're holding your breath again." I wasn't. I could feel my chest locked, lungs full, like something had pressed pause on me. I sat up so fast the room tilted. The feeling vanished instantly. The air rushed back in. I stayed awake until morning, lights on, back against the headboard. The next night I slept with noise, a podcast, voices meant to fill space. The pause waited until the episode ended. Perfect timing. When the voice returned, it said my name. Not shouted, not whispered, just stated, like a fact. I didn't respond. I learned quickly that acknowledgement made it linger. Patterns emerged. It never came when someone was over, not even when they slept. It never appeared during the day, not even in reflection. Only when I was alone. Only when the house was quiet enough to notice what stopped. I tested it, left the TV on, slept with music. It waited. Silence wasn't the trigger. Loneliness was. I stopped sleeping in my bedroom, moved to the couch, then the floor, then back to the bed, because at least there I expected it. The voice never demanded anything. It never threatened. It just stayed, close enough to feel. Some nights it stood at the door, some nights beside the bed. Once, I woke with the impression that it had been sitting, watching. The worst part wasn't fear. It was familiarity, like noticing the same stranger on your commute every day. Eventually, your mind stops asking why. It just accepts the presence. The last night was quiet in a way that felt intentional. No pause, no pressure, just sleep. Real sleep. I woke just before morning, that thin blue hour where shadows soften. I almost believed it was over. Then the voice spoke clearly for the first time. "I don't come when you're afraid." I didn't move. "I come when you're alone." My breathing slowed on its own. The pressure returned. Gentle this time, almost careful. "You don't have to look at me," it said. "You never did." I understood then. Fear was never the point. Witness was. I don't live alone anymore. I make sure of that. Background noise helps. So do lights. But sometimes, when the house settles just right, I still feel the pause, not stopping me, just checking, making sure I'm not alone. If you're listening to this at night and something just went quiet, don't panic. It's probably nothing. Just remember this. You don't have to see something for it to stay with you, and some things only exist when no one else is around. If you made it this far, you're already part of this. Like the video, subscribe. I'll be here next time.